Hello and welcome back to the Golf Ireland podcast. I am Stephen Murphy, your host. I'm joined by my co-host here, Valerie Wheeler. Valerie, great to see you as always. How are you?
Thanks very much. Delighted. Yeah, just back to normality, back home after a crazy week and a bit of Paralympics coverage on RT. And it was just a fantastic week and a half, but delighted to be home now, back in my own bed. Need to put on a 20 kg bag of washing now today. That's what I need to do. But yeah, it was fantastic to cover the Paralympics.
Yeah, like I suppose it's good. It only comes around once every 4 years for for yourself. You're not doing this every year, but a great thing to be a part of. The Paralympics. I was saying, was watching it with my wife, and God, there's some incredible stories, some incredible achievements, and some incredible sports. Like sports you don't get to see, apart from at the Paralympics, and I always find it very fascinating. But yeah, a great experience, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I think one story I kind of had a lovely job every day of finding like those nice stories and world records and Paralympic records. And I suppose one that sticks out for me is that last year in 2023, a girl from America was attacked by a shark while she was out snorkeling. And this year she was in the Olympics in one of the swimming categories and she actually won silver. And I just thought, wow, like she was only, she did lose part of her leg from the incident, and like just pure amazing things that she just got back out there, back in swimming, and this year she was in the Paralympics. Like just fantastic inspirational stuff altogether, Stephen.
Yeah, it is. It is incredible. Turning a negative into a massive positive, which is fantastic to see. I was golfing at the weekend myself, Valerie. I was home back in Cavan. I was home for the Butler's Bridge Golf Society, which I'm a member of. It was the final day. It was the Luke Flynn Cup, which is my friend's kind of late father. He died 15 years ago, and it's in his memoriam, so it was fantastic to be home for that. Belturba Golf Club was the venue. It's a course that normally kicks the crap out of me. But I played okay. I played pretty good for. I was happy enough anyway coming off the course, but a great little challenge, and then a few drinks in the local then in Butler's Bridge where I'm from that night. So a great weekend overall. The head wasn't too sore on Sunday either, so that's always a nice plus after a cracking day. 23, 24 degrees, I'd say. The sun cream on, which is always nice when you have to put sun cream on for golf. Normally, it's normally you're covering up,
Yeah.
so that was always pleasant. But no, great to be back for that. A good enjoyable weekend, and yeah, hopefully more golf in the coming weeks or so before it gets too dark, really, in the evenings, which is not nice. But we had some great guests on this week, Valerie. It's close to your heart, the
I
topic of this week.
know. Do you know what? I remember at the start of the year last year, so the first time I ever got into golf was with Golf Ireland last year. They did this initiative called the First Tee. It was where they got three of us on board to try and take up golf, go through a few weeks of lessons, and then playing the pro am of the Irish Women's Open. And is myself, Lorraine, and Pamela last year. And then this year I heard they were getting three newbies in, and I thought, no, that's our thing. They can't get through three newbies in, but they did. It was season two of the First Tee, and there was Kayleigh Trappe, Muireann O'Connell, and Ailbhe Garrihy. And I think it's been 2 weeks now since that we've left them alone for 2 weeks. We just want to let them calm down from the pro-am. So we caught up with them to find out how they found the whole experience and whether they'll continue playing golf or not.
Yeah, I think any avid golfer listening to this conversation will see it's basically like the six stages of grief. You know what I mean? It's kind of like stage one, nerves; stage two, intimidation; stage three, just freaking
Anger.
out. Yeah, anger, and then there's just overthinking it. It's the a very relatable conversation coming up, but also one of the reasons why we all love golf so much as well. Fascinating conversation. So we'll throw to that conversation now. We hope you enjoy.
This week on the Golf Ireland podcast, we are delighted to be joined by our First Tee season two trio. Oh my God, it's been 2 weeks after they've hit the golf course, so we need to find out. We need to go back to the very start. Muireann O'Connell, Kayleigh Trappe, and Ailbhe Garrihy. Welcome to the pod, everybody.
Hi
Hello.
guys.
We feel like a right Brady bunch. This is the most guests that we've ever had, so we're really excited to try and manage this. But Muireann, first of all, I had the pleasure of taking part in this last year, and honestly was the best thing that ever happened to me. But can you start by telling us how you were roped into being part of the First Tee this year?
Um, a colleague of yours, Jackie Hurley, says, "Come here, you're going to do the Golf Ireland First Tee thing, aren't you?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" And she says, "You're doing it," and that was it. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. So I think she'd mentioned it to me first. And I was like, oh, sure, that'd be great, because she's been trying to get me to go golfing for a while. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to embarrass myself like that. And then in a very sort of, oh God, X Factor way, my mother got really emotional when I said that I could be doing this because Dad was a massive golfer, and she was like, oh my God, this makes me so happy, and it would make him so happy. And it was real, real journey sort of stuff, like X Factor for Simon Cowell. But it was really nice. It was definitely why I said yes. She was kind of like, I would love you to play golf because your dad loved it so much. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me.
And before we move on and ask the other two girls, last year, Pamela and Lorraine did head into an Ireland AM and you got a bit of a taste for it. How did you get on that day?
Bit of a leading question there, Valerie, isn't it? Is this when we were on the telly outside and we had to strike the ball, and I hit it not once but twice into the car park to the golf ball lashed onto my colleague's car, so much so I was like getting the insurance out, going, how much am I going to have to pay for putting a dent? So yeah, I had to redeem myself and see if I could hit the ball straight. So yes, embarrassing day on Ireland Day. I'm the first time I hit a golf ball on telly.
But now you're getting better. Kayleigh, for you, how did you ever play golf before you started this, or were you a complete beginner?
Complete beginner. The odd pitch and putt with my granny when I was high, but I don't think I could use that as any experience at all. My brother and my dad both play golf, so I was like, surely this is hereditary. Like, their handicap isn't too bad. I'll not say the number just because they'll kill me for it. But so I was like, oh, I'll be grand. But it's harder than it looks. And you're saying it's 2 weeks ago now. I'm still fairly stiff. Jeannie Mac, it took me a wee bit of time to recover, get the L-protein in, but look at like a bit like Muireann there, kind of went along with it at the beginning because like I had links in golf and that, but really, really enjoyed it. And it's definitely only the start of it for me.
And what about yourself, Ailbhe, when this opportunity landed on your lap? Were you jumping at the chance, or were you a bit iffy about it?
Oh, I was definitely a bit iffy. I was very surprised, to be honest, that Golf Ireland reached out to me in the first place. I was kind of like, why me? And then as I kind of chatted to them, I think it was kind of, mom of 2 young kids, full-time working mom. I suppose they kind of asked me in a way, to show that anyone can do it, Life is very busy, but I managed to fit in the time, and so glad I did. Again, I had links to golf. My mom is big into it, and my dad too, and my husband plays as well. So everyone around me, I was seeing and hearing about golf all week, every week, but I'd never played myself. I played in a charity event when I was in secondary school with my mom. I say played, I was shocking. And that was the only time. So I was surprised, and my initial thing was like, oh God, no, I couldn't do that. I'd be terrible. And then I was like, why not? What a lovely way to spend the summer, learning a new skill and picking up and just learning how to play golf. And I'm so glad that I did.
I suppose the question I'd have for all of you, I'll start with Muireann. Golf is one of those sports that before you start playing it, everyone thinks, God, this is so easy. You're just hitting the ball around the field pretty much. Was that same for you, Muireann? And then when you started practicing, how quickly did it hit home that it's actually an incredibly tough sport?
I am never, ever criticizing anyone who plays golf ever again in my life, because that was the sort of thing, when a big championship is on, and on a Monday on Ireland Day and we do the sport and be like, Jesus, that's what went wrong there. There's people watching as you as you're trying to swing at this goddamn tiny ball who's got a mind of its own and it wants to go into the stratosphere, or it doesn't want to go anywhere. Oh my God, it is so much harder than I thought, because for an awful lot of stick and ball sports in Ireland, it's a bit of it's camogie, and you got your hockey. Hit the ball, off it goes. Bit of skill. This thing, there's 57 different stances, different drives. Like, oh my God, putting them all together I just didn't expect it to be as hard as it was. I just thought, swing, off you go, you hit the ball. No. So for everyone who plays golf, I will never, ever be criticizing anyone ever again. There's so much more that goes into it than I realized, but also it's kind of mindful. I kind of like it. You can't think about anything else. Life can't get in at you. You can't be worried about mortgages and bills and all that kind of stuff. You're just playing golf because you're so concentrated. I like that.
Yeah, Kayleigh, was same for you. You have a sporty background. You think that it would be they'll just take to this sport now. And how was it for you?
Exactly the same as Muireann. I completely underestimated it. And like, I suppose I'm a lip syncer, so I'm used to spoofing and bluffing. So I was like, do you know what? Worst case scenario, you just pick up a club and whack it. But it was not like that at all. Even I remember one of the first lessons we had, they were like, what club are you going to use? And I was like, the big one. And they're like, then the hybrids and all were coming in. I was like, oh yeah, that'll do there. Even on the day of the tournament, I was like to Mary, I was like, Mary, now if I go and pick a club here that isn't the right one, you give me the wee wink and the wee nod and tell me I should be using the 7 instead of the 8 if I need to. So all the little intricate things. But then I found actually kind of halfway through that I was overthinking a lot of it as well. So I was doing the flipping of what I was doing at the beginning. So I was so stiff in myself and worried about every little thing. And I had a lesson with Callum Slater in Carton, and there was one lesson we did and he just goes, whack the ball, just whack it. And it was my best lesson I ever did because I got out of my own head. So you kind of have to, I realized you have to find a balance between driving the ball on and actually just like giving it full swing, literally, because we actually did a drill one point where he got me not even to hit a ball, just to try and see if I could make the whoosh of the drive as loud as I could, because I was overthinking it. So you really have to find the balance. I'm still finding it, but it's a mixture of everything, and I definitely will, like Muireann, I'll never underestimate a golfer again. Serious respect to them.
Ailbhe, you said a lot of your family and your husband plays. Do you now have more sympathy for them when they would come home and be, having a bad day at the course?
Oh yeah, again, like the girl said, there's so much more to it than just hitting the ball. Like, and what took me by surprise was the different types. I thought there was just one golf swing. That's it. But then I started my lessons with Mary. There's the Y swing, there's the half swing, there's the L swing, there's the full swing. It's like, and I remember saying to Mary, I wish I could bring a notebook to the lessons to write everything down, and I'd go home and study it in bed tonight. But you can't, because you're playing and you don't want to waste the hour writing stuff down. But I was like, well, please will you film me or film yourself saying this so I can remember it. There's so much to think of. And then the posture, like you think your posture's good and she tells you it's shocking and you're like, and again, then as Kayleigh said, the different clubs to use. And thank God my mom caddied for me the day of the pro-am and she was able to tell me, use this one here. And I was like, thank God, because I literally wouldn't have had a clue. There's so much to learn. I see why people play for so long, because I suppose for your first few years, you're just learning everything and getting used to everything and letting everything sink in. So yeah, I think we did well considering the amount of stuff you need to think about. Yeah.
Speaking of the amount of things you need to think of, and to be honest, it's quite a short period of time for you to learn all these things. Like I found that I was like, oh my God, I don't have enough time. And the night before the pro-am, girls, I don't know about you, but I did not sleep a wink. Muireann, how are we? Let's talk about the pro-am. Let's talk about the night before. How were you feeling?
So I had a message from Pamela Joyce the night before, who did it, of course, your year, Valerie. And I was like, I don't know, I'm not feeling well. And I can't repeat what she said, but it was something about, defecation. And in the lead up to this pro-am. And I was like, that's how she just got it so well. And she was like, don't worry about it. Once you go to first tee, it's going to be fine. And she had said, and I was talking to you about it as well when we met up in Offaly, that she's like, just enjoy it. You're in it together. And that did make it a lot better. But I didn't realize how nervous I was going to get. I was like, lads, there's going to be no one watching us. We're there on the Wednesday. The real action's happening on the Thursday at the Irish Open. But I was so nervous. And then you're trying not to be nervous because you're like, oh my God, the two girls are going to be amazing. And I'm SH1T at absolutely everything. And I have to try to keep up with them. But then when we were kind of there in the morning and it was, how are you? And everyone's like, oh God, sure, I have no idea. I can't believe that we're actually doing this. This is unbelievable. We'd never played 18 holes before. And next thing you're going out playing 18, I was like a toddler. By the 14th hole, I was like, where am I? What's happening? I'm cranky. Someone feed me, burp me. I don't know what's going on here. So it was real nerve-wracking. But then once we got into it, we started having a bit of a laugh, and it was great having Kayleigh and Ailbhe, who hadn't done it either. So we knew we were in it together.
For you, Kayleigh, I mean, like, every one of us in the call is used to being in the public eye and putting your face out there and, talking into our phones and talking on cameras and TVs and radios. But when it comes to standing at that first tee in front of just maybe a small amount of people, even the people that you've gotten to know over the last few weeks, it was a different type of nerve altogether.
Oh, completely. I try and do this thing where I just convince myself I'm not nervous for things. I'm like, it's grand, it's grand. No, it's fine. But when I landed in after a very large coffee that morning, I remember just looking over and Kayleigh Garrihy was to my left, and like Claire's like a pro, and Damien Comer was to my right, and then over there was Ireland AM, and Derek was like, "Will you do something live on air?" And I was like, I can't hide now. Like, this is real. There's no bluffing on this. So definitely nerve-wracking morning, but like once you get that first tee, even if it wasn't great, once you get that out of the way, it just felt like a weight lifted off your shoulders. And then the crack was happening. The full fill bars were being thrown around, and everyone just had a really lovely day. The weather helped as well. We had an absolute beamer of a day. We were very lucky that way. And just there was a nice camaraderie about the group, and even the professionals who we were playing with, they were like so lovely. They weren't intimidating at all. They were actually like lining up our ball for us if it was a bit off, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So that kind of thing was just really nice, and it put you at ease straight away. So there was nothing to be worried about, but all the same, it's easy to say that all the same.
Yeah, Ailbhe, for you with your mum, it was so nice to have her because she's used to going out. Did she calm you down, or was she a bit up the walls as well?
So how I felt the night before in the morning of, I didn't feel that nervous because kind of like Kayleigh said, I try and just block out the nerves. I'm like, it's grand, it's fine. Like, worst things have happened in the world, it's grand, whatever. But walking up onto the tee box, my legs went to jelly. I was just, and I was like this holding the club. It was almost like what you're working towards since June or whatever day we started. It's all coming down to this. And I was like, oh geez, I cannot believe I'm about to take this shot in front of people. Again, wasn't a great drive. But once we got that over with and we started walking the fairways, we all kind of relaxed a bit. Mom, now I will say, she was a bit strict on certain things. She was giving out to us for walking in people's ball line or whatever you call it, walking across and things. And I was like, okay, you're making me a bit stressed now because we don't know every single bit of etiquette. We've only done this since June. So, however, she was a great help on the day. She really was. As I said, tell me what club to use, tell me what this to use, lining up my ball, the whole lot. I couldn't have asked for a better caddy in her. She was very supportive, but she did kind of get strict with us once or twice when we made a few mistakes.
Was anyone wearing some sort of a heart rate monitoring device? I'd love to maybe get some heartbeats per minute on the first tee, but yeah, like let's reaffirm here, golf's really fun. I know we just highlighted all the scary things about it too, but Muireann, like, can you talk about how, once you got that first tee over, the next couple of hours, how much fun was it? I said you got a great day. As someone said, golf is nothing more than at least a great walk in a lovely environment. So can you talk to us a little bit about that?
It is a real camaraderie, regardless of how it is that you want to do. Because a few of my friends, they did the Get Into Golf program 2 years ago now. I think it was 2 years ago now. So I've gone out with them since, and they're so enjoying it because it is downtime for them. They're like, okay, I want to get away from the kids and I want to go out and I want to see the girls, and they're combining the two because they want to get a little bit of exercise. And this is something that I've kind of realized that it is very, very, very social for people who want to kind of have to combine all of these elements, because that's the one thing I always wondered. Like, Dad would disappear at 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday and we'd see him maybe 9 o'clock that night. He had the best time of his life. He was off. Like, all the social aspects of it are so good, but then there is the sort of, I wouldn't be very strategic in how I live my life, but you have to be a bit strategic. This is a whole new skill. Your brain is going at the same time as well. Like, I don't think I would have the patience I wouldn't be able to do something like bloody chess, but it's a strategic game, but you're getting to do it with your friends. So I think that that's something that I really enjoy. And also, I have to say, Kayleigh Garrihy, my God, did she sell at something else? Sure, I was out for the Middle East. Sure, I'm going to Portugal. I'm going off with the girls. I'm going on holidays. I was just like, do I get to just go on golf holidays? You get to go on great golf holidays. Take up the golf. They have the best holidays. She has me sold for the great holidays.
I'm like, if that's my future, I am keeping this up. She is thrilled with golf. Like she has this group, the VBs, which stands for the Virgin Brides. And that's who she goes on her golf. Sorry, it's the Virgin Brides -1, but she's never told us which one isn't. Never. And she travels the world with the VBs playing golf.
Exclusive.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. Now we're
Mother's gonna love this. Mother.
I didn't plan on saying that, but her VBs are who she goes on her golf. Spain, all over Ireland.
So where are we heading? Girls, where are we heading?
Yeah, where are
Yeah.
we heading exactly?
Yeah, we'd obviously all get in. We're all VBs, right?
Yeah. That was going to be my final question about when are we all going on a big golf holiday together. But so before we finish up and chat, what's the story with you playing golf now? Is it going to be something that you're going to continue to do? Ailbhe, what about yourself?
Yeah, like I love now that we've done this campaign and the pressure's off and we can play at our leisure now. As I said, I have 2 young boys, so I'm not going to be like, it's going to be hard to get out for 18 holes. I'm not silly, you know, I know it will. But what I loved about getting into golf was getting down to the driving range and hitting a basket of balls just from my head, you know? So I really want to continue that. And then if there's, you know, a charity event, or if there's a Saturday where we have a babysitter or the grandparents of the kids or whatever, I love that myself and Rory now have a new sort of date idea that we can both do. I have my own set of clubs now to get out and play with him, get out and play with mom, dad, whoever. It'll definitely be a leisurely thing for me, and I 100% am going to keep it up. I really am.
Kayleigh?
Yeah, I suppose for me, my background is mainly social media, and we all know we can be addicted to the phones. And I don't know if this stands for every course, but most of the courses I've been on so far, there's literally no signal at them. And it's the biggest blessing in disguise as far as getting out and actually having a bit of peace for a few hours. Even like I've been out with my dad a few times, and the conversations that we've had on the golf course, I can't imagine we'd have the same ones at home. So I think as much of, like, I know I have a sporting background, but a lot of the sports I do are very fast paced. You're nearly doing it to beat a record, or you're always doing it to get the calories in the watch. So I think for me, I've learned the best thing I got out of the golf was this space to think. Even to my best ideas have come to me out in the course, and just time to have the chats and the social side of it, as well as getting the sport. The skill is in there too. So I'd be silly not to keep it up. And yeah, like Ailbhe said, just getting the time sometimes, but you don't have to do the full 18. You can go out to the driving range, do 9 holes, whatever it is, just get out and get talking and mind the head, mind the old noggin. So I'll definitely be keeping it up for sure.
Muireann?
Yeah, I've been out a couple of times with friends already. In saying that, we went very late in the evening because I was like, I'm not embarrassing myself in front of people. I don't want to slow. You know, everyone's like, oh, the new golfer slowing everything up. I was like, we're taking the last tea time. So we went out until the sun was gone and we couldn't do anything else. But the real thing is coming, because winter is coming, my friends. I bought a pair of the wet pants. What are they called?
Waterproofs.
Waterproof.
Waterproofs.
Overall,
Makes me seem like I wet myself all the time, but no, I bought the waterproof. I bought a pair because Karen, one of my mates, was like, it's coming. She was like, just get them now because we're going to be going out, and you're coming. You're not backing out just because it's raining. And she's like, this is the real testament, is if you come out this winter. So yeah, no, the new thing that's happened, that you don't have to be kind of a member of a club as of this September to kind of get your handicap. That's great, because, you know, we're all kind of all over the place and sort of that commitment. So that's something that, yeah, I'm on my way to doing that. It is definitely something that I have taken up for life.
Look, that is amazing. And this is what it's all about. I don't know about you, but during this process of the first tee, had you many women contact you about playing golf and how they should start, and that they were afraid to, and that they thought it was a man's sport? And had you many people reach out to you? Because I know I had, and that's what we wanted. That's why the first tee was done.
yeah. I feel like a lot of people were nearly surprised to see me get into it. You know, I just think they were kind of like, oh, wow, okay. And then as I shared more content, they were like, how do is there a program I can join? How do I, you know, I know you can download the Get Into Golf app, the Golf Ireland Get Into Golf. And I was sending on the links saying, yes, anyone can do it. Or the you know, the chip and chats, or, you know, there's so many, Golf Ireland just has so many, it makes it so easy for anyone to play. So it was lovely to see women like me, maybe with young kids or whatever, getting in touch saying, I would love to do this. I feel like this is just what I need, just for to clear my head and get out for a couple of hours, which was really nice to see that we were giving people that idea, I guess.
For sure. Sometimes, even from my experience, sometimes you look at golf as like a retirement sport. It's like where what you do when you're a wee bit older. And I had a lot of young girls on to me, just been like so glad to see it being put in a different light and a bit of crack about it as well. You don't have to take it too seriously. Just get out and swing a club with your friends, and something you could do at the weekend, and obviously enjoy the 18th hole or a cup of coffee or whatever after as well. So a lot of girls were like, it's nice that you're showing it in a different light with a bit of crack involved in it as well, because that's what it is. It's just sometimes people don't see it like that.
I called out to my because I want to keep my coaching going with Hazel Kavanagh. She's in Leopardstown, and she's always been very realistic about it, going, this game will make your life so much happier, and it will destroy it at the same time. Make no mistake. She's like, this is going to destroy it. You hit a bad swing on the first tee, you're out for 18 holes and you're having a bad day. But I was out there, and she and there was 3 girls in a class with her, and they were like, Harriet, we booked in with her because we saw that you were having a great time, and she seems like, and I was like, that was brilliant. And then another woman I know, she's a criminologist, she sent me a message one day. She was like, I've always wanted to play golf, but I never thought, that I would. And she booked into a lesson, and I was like, let me know how you get on afterwards. So she got back onto me, and she was just like, I absolutely loved it. It doesn't hurt that he's a complete ride. I'm booked in for the next 2 months.
Where was this?
Yeah.
I'll send you on the details, Kayleigh. I'll send you on the details.
Yes. Well, girls, it's been fantastic having you on. And I think with Golf Ireland in the first tee, it was such an amazing opportunity. And I'm delighted that 3 more of you got the chance after we did. And for you all to continue playing golf is what we all set out for it to happen, and to get more women to play.
Being the best info, Valerie. You came the first day and you took a drive, and we were all like, wow. Thanks for leading the way.
Like, please hit the second thing. Please hit the second thing. I was like, whew. I was like, now it's over to you.
Example next year, Jeannie Mac. Well, maybe they will.
They won't be ringing me next year anyway to come back.
They'll be getting you to do the putting, Ailbhe. You'll be doing the putting.
Well, what can I say?
All-star. The highlight of the whole day was that putt, I think.
Oh no, I don't know about that now. It was a total fluke. A total fluke.
Good.
Stop it.
We seen it. It was on social. They got it, so it was great. It happened. Girls, it's been fantastic to chat to you. And if you do have a golf holiday, don't forget me, okay? That's all I'm saying.
We'll get in the diary.
Thanks, girls. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, now it is time for the news section. We'll start with the professional game. The Amgen Irish Open tees up in Royal County Down this week with a host of Irish players in the field, including Seamus Power, Rory McIlroy, Shane Lowry, Pádraig Harrington, Simon Thornton, Mark Power and Tom McKibben. Conor Purcell and Gary Hurley will also tee it up as both receive Sport Ireland invitations, while Max Kennedy and Sean Keeling have picked up the 2 Irish amateur invitations for the event. Kennedy was the highest Irish golfer in the world amateur golf rankings, with Keeling securing his place thanks to the accumulated world ranking points from the St Andrews Links Trophy, the Amateur Championship, European Individual Championship and the AIG Irish Men's Amateur Close. So best of luck to all involved. On the DP World Tour, Gary Hurley was the best of the Irish at the Omega European Masters, finishing tied 56 on 2 over par. The road to Mallorca heads to Portugal this week on the Challenge Tour, with Conor O'Rourke, Jonathan Caldwell, Dermot McIlroy, Cormac Sharvin, Ronan Malarney and John Murphy all set to tee it up at the Open de Portugal on the Challenge Tour this week. LET Access, the Rose Ladies Open. Sarah Byrne made a solid start to her professional career, finishing tied 13th at the Rose Lady Open in Brockett Hall last week. Byrne carried rounds of 73, 69 and 68 to finish 6 under par, just 7 shots behind the winner, Helen Bream. On the Clutch Pro Tour, Tyler Hogarty was the best of the Irish at Kettleson Park, finishing tied 12th on 3 under par. Robert Basil was just 2 shots behind, finishing tied 20th. The Clutch Pro Tour is in Harleyford this week, with the final round underway today. John Ross Galbraith, Stuart Grehan, Liam Grehan, Jack Madden and Rowan Lester all still in the mix today, with Galbraith leading the way of the Irish. Then on the amateur news scene, the European Senior Team Championships, the Irish Senior Men's Team took home a bronze medal from the European Senior Men's Team Championship in Bulgaria, defeating Denmark 3.5 to 1.5 to seal 3rd place overall. So well done there. The Irish women's team finished 7th in the European Senior Women's Team Championship, finishing their week in Slovenia with 3.5 to 1.5 win over Sweden. Well done to all involved. The European Mid-Amateur Team Championships will take place in France this week. The men's team are represented by Colm Campbell, Paul Coughlin, Brian Dorn and TJ Ford, while Shannon Burke, Emma O'Driscoll, Jessica Ross and Aideen Walsh tee up for the women's team. You can keep an eye on the social medias of Golf for Ireland, or you can visit www.ega-golf.ch for all the latest. The AI Junior Cups were also on, and Athenry and Rockmount were crowned AIG Junior Cup champions on a blistering hot day in Athlone Golf Club last Saturday. The golf was scintillating at times, and 2 thrilling finals ensued, with Athenry claiming a 4-1 win over Abbey Leaks for the AIG Men's Junior Cup shortly after Rockmount's hard-fought 3-2 victory over Powers Court in the AIG Women's Junior Cup decider. Athenry is actually the club that I play as well, so very, very exciting news, and well done to all involved. A lot of hard work goes into it, and well deserved at all there at Athenry. And then the AIG finals were on in Gort. This week, the AIG Women's Intermediate Foursomes and the men's Pierce Purcell tee up in Gort. The Pierce Purcell semi-finals see Athlone take on County Cavan, while Cahir Park face Tull Farris. And in the intermediate foursome semi-finals, Athenry will play Rathcore and Enniscope against Castle Comer. And that will wrap up this week's news section. We hope you all enjoyed this week's episode. We appreciate you listening as always, and we'll see you all next week for another great episode. Until then.